Hi, I'm Matt with eTrailer. If you're looking for a way just to get a little bit more storage out of your 2023 Hyundai Santa Fe, then the Yakima SkinnyWarrior Rooftop Basket is going to be a great option for you. And that's going to be because this is going to be a longer basket that's really designed for those longer items. Because the Santa Fe does have a decent amount of storage, so you'll be able to get a lot of luggage back there. But at some point you might run out of space. You might need to store a little bit more items up here. Or if you are carrying any really long items like lumber, then the back of your vehicle might not cut it. So let's check it out. So you will be able to put a lot in here, but like I was just saying, the main appeal is just going to be that length and how much space it takes up on a roof, because if you want to load anything else on your roof, you're going to have plenty of space on the other side. Anything like a kayak or skis. Now, if we look at the very front too, we're going to have this front fairing, and what that's mainly doing in this point right here is just kind of deflecting some of that wind, just so it gives you more of a smooth ride. You don't have any resistance blown against whatever you're hauling. Now, if you are in those situations where you do have that extra long lumber, you can actually remove this fairing by loosening up a wing nut on the back, so you'll have a lot more space to play around with. And no matter what you are hauling, I do recommend tying those items down. You're going to have plenty of points to do that too. You're going to have this rung at the top and these ones that go across our vehicle too. Now this is going to be made from steel with a black powder coat finish to it. So something to think about is if you have a hook, a metal hook on here, that could scrape off some of that finish and make it more prone to rusting in that spot. So definitely just keep an eye on that. And if we look at how these rungs also operate, they also grab onto our clamps. And this design is meant to really place these clamps wherever you need them to accommodate your crossbar spread. So we won't just have one point we can mount this to, we're going to have a lot of different points from these two rungs, and downwards. Now, to be honest with you, we don't have the best fit on this today. And that's going to be because, like I said, you can only mount this to every two rungs. So even if we try to mount this to the ones next to it, we're still going to get an odd fit just on the other side. Now this still will work, it's just not going to be the best fit that you can get. Because the way this works is we're going to have this metal clamp up top that attaches to this plastic adapter that has two bolts that run through and tighten down to this metal plate on the bottom. And this is what's cinching everything together. Now this is still doing a pretty decent job. It will work with your arrow crossbars, your round and square crossbars. But if you have any HD crossbars, that probably won't work. And part of the reason why we're getting this fitment issue is because we have a fixed mounting roof rack. If you have flush rails, then you're probably going to run into this issue as well. Now if you have a naked roof, that might be a little bit different and it could change the fitment with your basket. Now if this is an issue for you, then I'd recommend checking out another roof basket, and I'm going to recommend the Rhino Rack roof basket, because the way its clamps work is it's going to have this clamp that really slides down some bars so you can really accommodate whatever spread you need. Now the only downside of that is it's going to have a different design overall. It's not going to have this narrow design that we have today. It's going to be a bit wider. But since this is going to be a pretty adaptable rack, you can really shift how this is going to sit on your roof. Now today we do have some overhang, so we can get this really close to us, which is going to benefit us if we need to take anything off of here. So it's just going to make it a little bit of an easier reach. And as you can see, we still have a lot of space to play around with the other side. So like I said earlier, if you want to put a kayak carrier or ski carriers up here too, you'll have plenty of space to do so. And this isn't going to stick out too far. As you can see, we have plenty of space before we even hang over the front of our windshield, which is just a great fit. And if we walk a little bit further back, we can see how much space it is taking up just over our cab. Now this is roughly about the size of your cab, just a little bit smaller. So we're doing great in that respect. And if I walk backwards, we can see how our hatch clearance is going to work. We're going to have a good amount of space back here too. is going to be over a foot. Now, something to think about is if this isn't enough space for you, or you want something a little bit bigger, you can actually get an adapter for this to make it a bit longer, and that's going to do two things for you. You're going to have more space to work with up here, and the second thing is if you put that adapter in, it could change our fitment today. So right now we have this odd fit where the clamps aren't working well with our crossbars. If you put that adapter in, it could change the fitment into something better. You're going to also get a few measurements at how it's going to interact just directly over our roof. So the first one I'm going to get is going to be of the clamp. And this, at its lowest point, is going to be about 1 inch, which isn't too bad. It is something to consider if you have a sunroof and you want to use it. Now, I don't think it is going to block you or prevent you from using your sunroof. I think it's going to come close, and it might be a little bit more of a hassle to really work with these bolts and wing nuts. But a good way just to fix that is just to keep your sunroof lowered, and you should be fine. As for the total height, if I measure from the top of our crossbar to the top of our basket, that's going to be roughly around 7 inches. Also note, not too bad. Definitely keep in mind if you have anything in here, it might stick above that depending on what you're hauling. So what I'd recommend doing is just taking the total height of your vehicle, your crossbars, your basket, and if you have anything in there, include that measurement as well so you know what areas you can make it under. A spot to really think about would be a garage. And as for how much it can hold, it's going to be able to hold up to 165 pounds, which is going to be a decent amount. And to be honest with you, in most cases, I don't think you'll come close to hitting that. Now, if you are hauling maybe a lot of lumber and it is weighing you down on one side, I'd actually recommend just to shift the basket a little bit more towards the center, just to give you a little bit better of a ride overall. It's also really important to check what your roof is rated for, or your roof rack. You can find that in your owner's manual, and then after that, I'd go from the lowest rated component so you don't damage anything. Now, in my opinion, I think this is a great option if you're looking for something that will accommodate those longer items. Now, I don't recommend putting anything up there that's really heavy or has some spillage to it. Anything like concrete, mulch, or anything like that. Because one, if you have bits of concrete falling onto your roof, it could damage it. And two, trying to lift up something that heavy is going to be pretty difficult. So in that case, I'd recommend going with a hitch cargo carrier. Now, if you are sticking to those long, lighter items like luggage or anything like that, and it is water resistant, then I'd also recommend checking out the Rhino-Rack roof basket, like I mentioned earlier, because right now we don't have the best fit, and that Rhino-Rack is going to have those clamps that can slide up and down the trays, so it's going to give you a better fit overall. Well, that was just our look at the Yakima SkinnyWarrior roof basket on top of our 2023 Hyundai Santa Fe. I'm Matt. Thanks for watching.